you on? And then Zoe's question is, how do you breathe? I can't do this, right? And so this is the wonderful thing about this exercise too. Not only are we working on the core muscles of the transverse abdominis and the internus muscle rectus, why am I, oblique, thank you, like the other one, thank you, the obliques, internal obliques, working on the backside multifidus, and we'll go through the muscles later, but we're also working on her diaphragm, because the diaphragm, depending on who you talk to, is the top of the core, right? Other people think it's the vocal cords that are the top of the core, but for right now, we'll just say it's the diaphragm. So her diaphragm doesn't know how to fit into the rest of her body and be the lid for her trunk or her barrel, okay? So that's going to be her, there we go, that's going to be her, there we go. Her training is to keep this down while she learns to breathe and hold this at the same time, okay? Because we don't want her to then just hold for 60 seconds, right? Because she's going to suck in with her rib cage flared up, and then we're retraining the wrong things. Make sense? She's also going to now be a perfect person to go into the next exercise, which is marching. So the purpose of marching is to take these two bones, the ASIS, which we already showed you on the skeleton, to not move, okay? So pan over to the skeleton with me for a moment. So we always talk about lumbopelvic stabilization, right? So what we mean by that is lumbo, or lumbar, pelvic, which is the sacrum and the innominate, which create the pelvis, stabilization. So if this and this isn't moving, and we have the legs lifting up and down, what's the only bone that should be moving? Femur, right? Because if these guys aren't moving, what's the next bone down? This guy, right? Oh, that's a bad hip there. That guy. So we want the hip socket to be able to move up and down like so, while the lumbopelvic area is stable. Well, how do we know if it's stable or not when the person is lying on their back in hook-lying position? We know it's stable because these two bones, the ASIS, don't move. And what I mean by don't move is not even like a half an inch, okay? So now let's go back to Zoe and see how she does this. So if she's doing, and can you come up to here so we can see going down? Thank you. So, no, I'm not seeing anything. Okay. I have one too. Okay, so these two bones here, these are the ASIS, right? So if we tell her to march, let's just watch how she does marching, right? She comes up and down, and up and down, other side. And what are you seeing? Keep going. What are you seeing with the creases of her pants? Is she stabilizing at the ASIS, or is she moving?
She's moving.
She's moving. And keep going. And which one moves more?
The right, I think. I can't see the left.
When she lifts the right leg or left leg, is it worse? How about that? From my vantage point is when she lifts the left leg, her pelvis drops, right? So now, when we say these words, patients are like, what do you mean it drops? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm lying on a table. How can it drop? The table is supporting me, right? What we mean is the pelvis with the ASIS, as she's lying here like this, here's the ASIS, right? As she lifts up the right leg, if she is stable, it doesn't move. If when she gets rid of that base of support off of the floor, her body isn't strong enough at the core to hold the weight of the leg, what happens is the ASIS will drop towards the ground. Or it'll drop towards the ground this direction. Okay? She does it where she rolls her pelvis back and it drops it at the same time. When you watch her lift her right leg again, watch it. Wait, hold on one second. Watch just as soon as she lifts her foot off the ground. Go ahead, it's dropping and it already dropped there, and then come back. And now, if we go to this side, she lifts, and that does do it the wrong way on purpose. There you go. Now she's sucking everything in. Her pelvis not only is rolling up, but it's rolling to the side. And this then would tell us, is she stabilizing her lumbopelvic area? No, she is not stabilizing her lumbopelvic area when she lifts up the leg at the femur, evidenced by the ASIS are rolling side to side or rolling up and down. Does this make sense so far? Great. So now it's the cueing that's really, really important for this one. Most people, when they learn how to do this, they're told to like do a Pilates. Suck in. Good. She sucks in. She flattens her back to the floor, and then she lifts up the leg. And she's worried about, she's literally looking at her knee, because that's the part she can see, and she's worried about how far up or down that knee is going. So let's throw all of that out the window, because the way we teach this is completely different. So what we would like to do for somebody like her, who tends to suck their stomach in, where those towels go, thank you, is we're gonna just give her a little bit of support, okay? The idea is that we take a towel, like so, and we're just gonna put it underneath her low back. Here we go. And that way, it just fills in. She's super thin, right? So she's got this lumbar lordosis that once she lies on the ground is going to round out or go into flexion. So if we just put in a little bit of a towel support, it will help fill in that space. Okay? Then what we have to do is a brace, right? We can't do bridging or marching or anything else until we have a good brace. So now we say for her, gently take your ribs into this. There you go. Squeeze those muscles there. Excellent. The next part of this is now to take this bone, and as soon as you start to transfer that weight from the right leg to the left leg, this bone doesn't drop at all. Right? Oh, it dropped already. Oh, it dropped already. And that's before she's even lifted her foot up, right? So we don't want her to lift her leg up and then think about squeezing her abs really hard when her leg's already up in the air and dysfunctional, right? So we say, activate here. She does a great job with that now. Hold here. Don't let that drop while you lift up the leg. Oh, she got it. She finally got it. And down. Now, the funny part was, you see what she did with her hands? She's like trying to grip the table because her body is searching for the way to do this the right way. Now, let's say you've got someone and you're going, do it right, do it right, do it right, do it, and she still can't get it right with all these other cues, right? She's all over the place. What are some of the things you can do to help her out? A couple different things. Press up into my finger at this bone. I don't know how. No. Did I say lift your leg? Sorry, no. So don't lift your leg yet. We're just prepping for lifting your leg. So gently push this bone towards the ceiling. There you go. And then let it relax. Good. Push that bone towards the ceiling. Perfect. Now, is it a little overcompensated? It is right now, but that's okay if she just needs to just activate the muscle and see what it feels like. So now lift this bone up. Keep it there. Now lift the leg on top of it. Keep it, keep it. Yeah, there you go. And drop down. Some texts will instruct by pushing the other leg down. The only problem with that is, if you're pressing this leg down, what is her brain thinking about? Down, right? It's not thinking about stabilizing at this area that is dysfunctional,
before, yeah.
right? So the other thing you can do too is, if you take your fingers and you put them on the muscles right here. Can you feel this muscle here? Don't let me squish my finger into it. Yeah, that muscle now is responsible for keeping this bone up. Don't let that bone drop. Lift it. Yes! We have success. Okay? Now, we only did it on one leg, right? Can we switch to the other leg? And that's always the problem. The biggest issue with marching is the transition of weight bearing on one side to weight bearing on the other side. And 99.99% of the time, you're going to have one side that's stronger than the other for each person that you do this. It's not always the right side, it's not always the left. Okay, so don't think about that. So let's see what she does now with this left side. Can she keep this left side up while she lifts the left leg? Nice! And come back down. So she did a really, really nice job on that. It's all set. I don't have to retrain this side. But she's only done one successfully. Maybe I should give her a couple more times to do it successfully. Okay. Pull up. Yeah, down. That looks good. And even though it's moving, once it gets up, I don't care about that part. I care about the first 2 inches. Okay? Go one more time. Gorgeous. And look at her ribs. And she's not purple, which means she's learned how to breathe. Okay, so now what we want to do is the actual marching part, right? This is the actual exercise. That's all prep to get to this part, which is, Zoe, we're going to start with the right leg first, and then we're going to switch it to the left leg. When you've got 2 feet on the ground, that's the time to really think about don't move the next side, okay? So don't move the right side. Yep, lift up the right leg. Perfect. Slowly come back down. As you transition now, both feet are on. Slowly, don't let this one drop. Yes! Perfect. And then we go to the other side. Don't let this one drop again. And she is working harder than she thought she should ever have to work at her core. And down. Right, good. Switch to the other side. Good. Now I'm going to pretend like I've got another patient, because you guys always do, right? Hey, I'll be right with you. You can go ahead and get started on that foam roll exercise we did last time. You don't remember it? Okay, grab the roll, lie on it, I'll be right there. Okay, so Zoe, you're doing a great job. Can you replace your hands with mine, or my hands with yours? There you go. That bone there, good. Squeeze. Yes, there it is. Yeah, lie on the roll with your back on it, put your feet on the ground. Right, then do that bracing that I told you how to do. Yeah, get those squeezing. Good, now the thing we're gonna add today is we're gonna lift up and down with the buns, just a little bit. Don't let it hurt. If it hurts, just stop and I'll be there in a second. There you go, Zoe, you got it. Come on, keep that squeezing. You think you have it?
I think I have it.
I think, okay,
Yeah.
so here's the deal, your job, you're gonna keep doing this, I gotta clearly go help somebody else who doesn't know other exercises, and I'll be right back. Please don't stop, it's gonna be about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, it's a lot,
Yeah.
be right back. And then I go, stop.